Manscaped is the ultimate gift for him this holiday season.
Now you can spice up your gift sack and save big doing it. Manscaped is offering 25% off site-wide for Black Friday. So what are you waiting for? Put Manscaped at the top of your wish list this year.
And here's an insider secret. Your partner is wishing for it too.
Shop Manscaped 25% off Black Friday sale today and get free shipping on all orders.
Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Before we get to the post-match, go check out Manscaped's site-wide Black Friday offer, 25% off. They usually don't do such deep discounts, but on Black Friday and especially also on Cyber Monday, contrary to other retailers and whatnot, these guys they have a deep discount going throughout the week and even Monday as well. So go check them out, LBR20, to get 25% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Holiday season is around the corner. Christmas is around the corner. Thanksgiving for the people in the US, I think it's soon enough as well. So go check it out, people. And this is your way to show love to the pod and giving something back to us. Basically, I know it wouldn't be much, but for the commitment these guys, especially not me, but my team and the panel and Doris, who sit through such drab games, I really have to feel for them. It really begs a question. Again, I've been asking this all throughout this season. How far can we drop? And this is another night we just outdo ourselves. But yeah, before we get into it, man, also support our sponsors, Fanatics. Go check them out. Official partners of La Liga and Real Madrid. They have a huge apparel of not just sportswear, other sponsored merchandise like from NASCAR, NBA, you name it. Fanatics is the best. They have probably the widest collection online, at least. Also, if you guys didn't know, now you know we are officially powered by the Talksport Fan Network. We kind of joined forces last week. It was one of the highlights of our 2024. Super grateful to have them on board. But let's get to the gist of things, man. None of us, if we had an option, we wouldn't be here, would we? I'll start with you, Mo.
No, and I'd definitely be here. I think after a game like this, you need some time to vent, so this is the perfect place to be.
I don't really need to, but go for it.
For me, it's like this is the perfect place to be. That's all I have to say for now. I mean, we're going to get into the meat of it. We're going to have some disagreements, I'm sure. Some agreements.
You think?
I'm sure there are certain things we're going to disagree on. There are going to be certain things that we are.
We gotta make Sahil fucking smile, like, cause this guy he has the most brooding face on planet Earth. Like today he's gonna smile.
No, I feel for people like Sahil. These are young guys, like Arda Güler. These are young people. They haven't seen.
They haven't gotten used to the right.
They haven't seen the depth of Real Madrid. So right now they're like, they are startled. They're like, oh man, this is what happened with Real Madrid. But people like us, we've been through dark days, so
making me feel old.
Yeah,
Sahil, you'll get there.
I mean, you're old already, so we need to age gracefully.
100%. But the game, like Sahil, we sit here week in, week out. I think you and me have done the most post matches right this season, and we just find a way to find some solace in our showings, especially in our attack, but it seldom shows itself. Like, we have to really dig deep to find some positives, and tonight is contrary to some of our other poor showings, there is absolutely nothing to take away.
And as bad as that is, I just think that everything that we've come to know over these past couple of months, we've seen some terrible nights, of course. But now it's coming to a point where, of course, everything that we saw today was nothing new, because we've seen these patterns
Yeah.
evolve over the past couple of months. It's only gotten worse, but it's the same, downfall, the same trend going on and
Yeah.
on game after game, big game after game, especially. And that's what hurts, really, because we used to be a team that prided ourselves on really showing up in these big matches against the best of the best, and now suddenly we just look like a shadow of ourselves, in these big games. And the really hurtful point now is that it's starting to really look like it's hurting our where we want to be at the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Champions League, at least we would want to make it to the quarterfinals, the semifinals, regardless of how bad of a season Real Madrid are having.
Yeah.
You cannot go out in the group stages, regardless of what format it is, regardless of if we're playing Liverpool or whoever we're playing.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't want to see my team 24th in the Champions League.
24th, a point above relegation. Is that true?
Pretty much. So just seeing that is it. I think if watching the atrocity of a performance that we put up against Barcelona and against Milan, if that didn't give you a reality check, because those games still, people can play them off because it's not too serious, or because Real Madrid are going to come back eventually, you can use that argument. But now it's come to a point where this is a reality check, seeing your team in 24th. I don't know if this doesn't give our fans and our manager and our board a reality check, then I don't know what doesn't, because everything that we've seen so far tonight, it's come to the bottom of the pit now, even with Mbappe, with the state his confidence is in, the penalty miss, the fact that we have absolutely no fight back after conceding the first and the second goal. Briefly after the first one, but after the second, we're completely lost as a team, as a collective. Nothing to show for an attack with.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, without it keeps getting worse, man. And we knew that Real Madrid would crumble at least once or twice against. The defense would give way against a world-class attack like Liverpool. It's just that we would have expected more going the other way, and that just didn't come tonight from the team.
See, I watched the game against Southampton, right? I paid due diligence to how Liverpool were set up and how Southampton kind of countered. The Saints did pretty well, fair to them. They haven't gotten a significant performance out of some of the fringe players. I thought Liverpool so far this season, but they eventually stepped up. That was the sign of a team that looked like they were heading towards the being champions, and a team that is completely reinvigorated by the arrival of Slot. So we completely knew what we were getting into, right? That's why Carlo basically went with this lineup. Despite he was kind of forced to basically play guys like Goller. Like he really wanted to kind of give these guys a chance, especially to step up. And what we saw again tonight was our team, when we are cornered, usually, especially in the Champions League, our DNA suggests that we just have an extra lot of armor that would allow us to fight back. But what I saw tonight, just is super ominous in terms of I can't really think about what awaits us in a couple of weeks. But Atlanta haven't lost a game. They haven't lost a game in a month or so. The last 6 or 7 games they've been winning pretty convincingly. Like even if I remember, they even bet Napoli away from home. So they have been doing pretty good. So if we face them away in Bergamo and then travel away to Brest, what are the chances we don't really find that mojo? Because away at Brest, all due respect to Brest, we will probably be too much for them. But on a given night, when they're facing us, and this is supposedly their big draw, Madrid is coming to town. They're gonna put up a big fight. And are we going to be ready for it? Is my question, Mo. That is my biggest question, right? Leave the Mbappe agenda, leave the Carlo agenda, leave everything out, Mo. Basics. When you're in a game.
After having lost to Lille, I don't think Brest is a given victory.
Yeah, actually,
it's never a given victory. But I like, what I'm doing is basically questioning that. Like, will we be up for a fight in the final game? I don't think so. Going off, games like this.
So, okay, I was actually smiling when you said, we'll be too much to handle for them, because at this moment in time, I feel like the opponents are too much to handle for Real Madrid, the way we've been playing so far this season. And it's not like they started like a couple of games in or whatever. So we've played like I think 19-20 games already this season, and right from the first game, this has been the story. So this isn't anything new. This is something that we kind of expected, and this is what Real Madrid have delivered. So the funny thing is, like, in the first game of our season, we kind of beat Atalanta to win the whatever title we won, and now we're going to face them in a match that they might actually push us into the elimination zone. So that's irony for you. But I don't really have anything to say what's going to happen in the future, because right now I'm like, you've kind of limited me from saying anything about Mbappe and Ancelotti, because if you take those two things away, the only thing I'm kind of left with is like trying to put the blame on the board. So and I mean, for me personally,
we are going around circles blaming whoever fits what we think. That's it.
Whoever is left.
There's no point.
So for me, the thing is like this club this season has been like shambles from top to bottom so far. If I was apportioning percentages of blame to everybody, I'd say 40% is down to the board, 30% is down to Ancelotti, and 30%, like when I say Ancelotti, I mean the management, and 30% is down to the players. So I don't exactly know what to say, because when you look at the club, the recruitment has been the squad planning was pretty bad. So
leave all that out, Mo. We have done that to death.
So I mean, I don't really know what to say, man. Like next season, or what's going to happen? The same thing is going to happen. Ancelotti is going to be the same, right? He's still going to do the same thing that he did today. Like I was watching it again. I was looking at Brahim. He was playing centrally. The dude was trying his his best. He was trying his best to make something happen. But like centrally, Brahim, I mean, it doesn't, playing him as a false nine, it doesn't work. We've seen that so many times. It hasn't worked, and still he decided to do that. He didn't even make any changes. Like Arda Güler, you stick him out to the left, fine, but there's nobody for him to combine with. What are you expecting him to go run at the opponent's fullback and take him on? I mean, that's not Arda Güler. That's like,
Mo, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Like we have done this. Like I've
Bro,
said.
the thing is, like, if we have done everything, then what is left to talk? What am I supposed to say?
Like I'm basically asking a follow-up
I will
question
have something new to
said.
say if this was something different. But
I completely get it.
This is the same story that has been repeated like since game one, right?
Right. No, just because you mentioned Brahim being ineffective up top and the whole synergy, like I completely get it. But Mo, we have to really understand last season, right? Okay, you can add.
I mean, last season, whenever Brahim was playing, whenever he played centrally, he struggled.
Still was more effective than
because he was playing out wide. Whenever he started, whenever Ancelotti played him centrally, he was struggling. He would be saying like, Brahim, whenever he plays from the start, he's not that good. When he comes on as a sub, he's probably better. But I mean, whenever Brahim played better, it was because he was playing on the right. He was playing in the half spaces. Today, who was playing in the half spaces? Nobody. And I mean,
Güler tried.
Güler, see, for Ancelotti, like, I kind of get frustrated. This is the thing, right? For him, it's like he doesn't trust the young players. Whenever he plays Güler, he's like, he always has him on the periphery of the game. Today, what happened was like, Liverpool completely neutralized. Like they made sure that we couldn't play from the left. So in the first half, every time the ball was going, it was going towards the right. So Brahim and Arda Güler were the ones who were probably on the ball majorly in attack. So Brahim centrally wasn't working. Their midfielders and the defenders would completely overpower him, and he would lose the ball. But so when something like this is happening, I would expect my manager, Ancelotti, like I've said this million times, right? Ancelotti, like he has a great reading of the game. He knows how to make certain tactical changes, so that things that are working suddenly start working. But when it comes to young players, he absolutely does not trust them. I mean, this isn't something like this isn't some new discovery I've made. Like all of us know that. So I mean, when things are going good, he can escape the blame for that. But today, when things don't go well, Ancelotti definitely deserves the blame for it. He's the one who should be making those changes. So for me, I mean, unless and until something changes, I don't really expect anything to be different when we go and face Atalanta. It's going to be the same thing, and Atalanta have been in brilliant form. So, you wouldn't be surprised if again we lose and come back, and like I said, we'll be pushed out of the top 24. I mean, towards the start of the season, we were saying, oh, Real Madrid, even if we lose, we're going to be in top 24 and we'll play in the playoffs or whatever. But this time, we probably wouldn't even make it there. So, I don't really know what to say apart from that.
I'll say my 2 cents. Yeah, like you can chip in as well, Sai. I heard all this. Completely valid points. The tactical gurus can run away with how we are set up, right? How we deal with Liverpool away at Anfield, right? My question is, right? When we get our chances, our sole outlet, if he is having the worst season of his life, what
Bro,
can
I mean,
save
this is not
the
fair.
team?
You told me not to touch on Mbappe, and now you're touching on Mbappe.
No, you touched upon all the deficiencies of how we are set up.
Fine. Let me just touch on Mbappe as well then, and then you can have a go at him.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So for me, Kylian, the thing today, what I noticed is the fact, like, this is something I think you guys have also mentioned previously as well. Like today, he didn't make any runs, and he was like too individualistic whenever he was in possession of the ball. I mean, I think you're probably going to raise the points about his passing. Like, he kept on losing the ball.
How many passes did he complete throughout the 90?
Yeah, in the first half, I was kind of like, I was kind of disappointed by the kind of
3
passing
passes, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And for me personally, like the Mbappe that was advertised and the Mbappe
If
that
it
has
was
arrived,
anyone else, he would be slated to oblivion. Like there wouldn't be any
Bro, you should
sympathy, empathy, anything.
You should open the social media. I mean, everybody's pretty much slating him. For me, the thing is like, the only saving grace for Mbappe is like we kind of know what his best is. And the hope is that he gets back to that. But for me, the way things are under Ancelotti, I don't see that happening so far. Maybe something will change, maybe 6 months down the line. But currently, I don't think anything is going to change.
No, but what does Ancelotti have to do with Mbappe's form? Because he's done everything.
See, for me, Ancelotti is the manager, right? He's the one who's supposed to manage the team. He's supposed to put his players in a way that you can get the best out of him. I mean, I totally understand Mbappe not making runs, and that is his fault. Mbappe is not playing proper passes, that is his fault. Mbappe is like
goodness, Mo.
rushing his shots and whatever.
It's your opinion. I respect it.
Let me just finish, right? And then you can go on with whatever you have to say. But for me, the thing is like Ancelotti has to make some tactical switches that kind of help him out. But right now, it doesn't feel like that's happening. So for me, yeah, I definitely get it. Like Mbappe has been pretty poor. Like I said last week, bench him for all I care. But right now, like nothing is working. I mean, Mbappe isn't the reason that we have lost 3 games in the Champions League. Mbappe isn't the reason we have conceded 9 goals in the Champions League. Mbappe isn't the reason why we have been struggling this season. We have lost like 4 games already in 19. I mean, last season we lost 2. So
he's one of the biggest reasons, actually.
Sure.
He is. I don't know
if
why.
That is the reason
why
that
Mo
Ancelotti
really think.
I mean, if that is the
Really
reason,
think
then
he's
bench him, right? Ancelotti, like your job is on the line. Why are you playing him?
That's another conversation entirely, because that is where the board comes
Bench him and play who, Mo?
I mean, play whoever. Like I'm pretty sure that if Mbappe is the problem, then whoever comes in is probably going to be an upgrade, right?
Because it's like I'll be absolutely livid if we lose a guy like Carlo and his team because of Mbappe. Because as much as
I mean,
like,
okay,
I
fine. You want to blame Mbappe? It's
Farouk.
fine. Like Mbappe is bad, but Mbappe isn't the one who's organizing the defense. Mbappe isn't the one who's like putting out the team week in week out and putting.
If we score our chances, our defensive lapses, which always existed.
How many chances did we create today?
Throughout my lifetime.
How many chances did we create today? How many chances we could look and say, oh man, this should have been in the net.
But let me ask you something, right?
No, answer me this, right? You said Mbappe is the one. If he
those
scores
half chances, if it falls to Vinny or Rodrigo,
where?
it's a
Which
different
one?
story.
Name one which somebody else would have scored.
Fede is
so that is not
cross from the
Mbappe. Man.
right.
Tell me about Mbappe.
Fede's cross from the right, low to cross. His first touch completely ruins that chance. Like yes, like there's like 3 bodies in front of him.
Where exactly did you receive it?
Huh?
Where exactly did you receive it?
Edge of the box. I mean, inside the box, but still edge of the box.
Man, you're talking about like chances which probably are very low opportunity, and you're telling me that you should have scored that. Come on, man. Like even like as much as Vinny is good, he's not scoring goals.
So Mo is basically expecting us to create, like XGs of 1 and above for us to score. Like that's never going to happen, Mo, in a game of this magnitude away at Anfield. Come on, be realistic. Right?
Okay,
we're facing an informed.
So the thing is, like, if we are struggling, it's all because of Mbappe. Okay, fine. Mbappe is the problem. Kick him out of the team, get in somebody else.
Biggest problem.
Obviously, it's going to be an upgrade, right? Then whoever comes on.
I don't know about that, but like,
See, the thing is, like, you are not even trusting the bench. You're saying Mbappe is all of the problem. Then you're not even willing to bring somebody else on. I mean, in that case, anybody who comes on is going to be an upgrade, right? Bring on Endrick. Come on, at least he can score goals, right? I mean, it's pretty easy to sit here and say Mbappe is this, Mbappe is that, Mbappe is shit, Mbappe is that. But the thing is, like, even
it's also pretty easy to say the manager is shit. Manager doesn't know what to do.
Even you know that the current team as it is, composed, Mbappe is the guy who, if he gets into form, can take us from shit to being better. I mean, deep down, even you know that. So the responsibility falls on the manager to make sure that he gets out of it. That it is his job to get the best out of Mbappe. If it's not happening with this manager, I'll be honest, it's pretty easy to change the manager.
If this manager could get the best out of Joselu.
Okay, fine. Then bench Mbappe and bring somebody else on.
You clearly have a different way of thinking about the situation. It's completely
what exactly is the solution? You want to criticize Mbappe shit? Fine, I get it. I agree with you. Mbappe is completely shit. So, bench him. Bring somebody else on.
There is nobody to bring on. That's the whole reason why Mbappe started this game. And also, Mo, I did touch upon this like countless times. The board has a say in Mbappe starting. It's as clear as daylight.
Okay.
Like, why don't you say it?
Why don't you say it? We agree that we don't have an alternative to Mbappe, all right?
Yeah.
So now you have to get the best out of Mbappe.
Mm-hmm.
Now it isn't clearly happening with this manager.
So how much of that is on Mbappe and how much of that is on the manager? Because you gave us a percentage for how much the board needs to be blamed and how much Ancelotti needs to be blamed. You said 40, 30, 30. So tell me how much of that is on Mbappe himself and how much of that is on Ancelotti. Him missing the penalty, putting a tame shot to the right of Callier. I don't think any of that is on Ancelotti.
I mean, it was
definitely just the state of mind.
Okay, fine. I mean, I totally agree with that. Like, Mbappe took a pretty bad penalty. It doesn't matter that he scored a similar one against Argentina in the World Cup. But okay, fine. I take your point. That's pretty valid. But the thing is, like, if it is a fall, yeah, Mbappe has been pretty bad. He hasn't reached the levels. Like I said, he hasn't been the same guy it was advertised that he's going to be today. But for me, the thing is, like, as if I am Real Madrid, I know that this guy has a level that he can reach. So for me, I would back him to get better.
You would bank on that rather than Carlo. A sensible one.
I mean, it's clearly not working between Ancelotti and him, right?
The way I think is, if nobody, like, I don't have an agenda per se, right? Even during the end of the last post match I was mentioning, Mbappe in this situation, Liverpool, as good as a team they are, the thought of him running at them would really evoke some sort of fear. They would respect us, and they did. Clearly, for the first 20 minutes, they knew, Mbappe is off sorts. They are not really finding him. But if he gets a half chance, he's gonna make us pay. So they were kind of, on their toes. But what happens when the game is completely taken away from us? Liverpool get the upper hand. The Anfield crowd, the cop, is completely onto the young kids, right? Like Guller, they still showed up. They showed immense courage to actually, they stepped up. Like Camavinga, guys in midfield. They were doing the dirty job. Modric. Like he had some crucial interceptions. All that was happening, and then start of the second half, we were completely blown away by the intensity. Like, it was twice as much as what we suffered in the first half. The first 10-15 minutes, we had no answer to what Liverpool threw in our direction. So what Carlo did was basically after the goal was scored, he took off Goller and Camavinga, who unfortunately had an injury, and put on Vasquez. Mo said that was a terrible decision, which I understood. Goller was someone, in given the right circumstance, he could pick out, the killer pass, or, his left foot can whip one out top corner and we could get back in the game. One moment of brilliance. But Carlo banked on, like I mentioned, direct control, or some directness, especially going forward. Vasquez did that in the first 5 minutes of his introduction. So what Carlo had in mind came to fruition.
So after those 5 minutes, what did Lucas Vasquez do?
He did nothing, but Mo, you have to understand.
After those 5 minutes,
the game completely changed, Mo. You have to take the chance.
The game completely changed. I mean, we became more shit. We were completely lost after that.
Why do you think we became more shit, Mo? After that pen was missed. Why do you think?
Because we completely lost any control that we had in the midfield.
Heads are gonna drop though. If we score that goal, Mo, I'm telling you, we might not lose, we might not win exactly, but we would have had a better showing, 100%. I completely get the tactical aspect of it. We wouldn't have any control midfield. I get it. I get it. I have always mentioned this. I'm a simple man. You look at it much more deeply. You are a much more well-versed guy in tactics. I completely respect it. But for me, when the basics are out of the window, what tactics is there to break down?
Okay, fine.
Who are we to blame?
No, okay, I get your point, but the thing is, that is the thing, right? You said, who are we to blame? If the blame lies on Mbappe, then remove him and get in somebody else who can probably do something, right?
The moment that happens, our team is going to look way better, but it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Okay, then Ancelotti should do that. His job is on the line, right?
Managers might come and go. His job is on the line, but he is a yes man, especially to the board. He is people who think he ain't is living in cuckoo land. But there'll come a point, push will come to shove, and eventually, decisions from the board will have to change because the results have been kind of trickling down, but the performances, there's nowhere to hide. There's no way to hide. People are watching us week in, week out. They're getting restless. The very thought of facing decent level opposition, let alone top opposition, we absolutely go into that game with the thinking of, what version of us are going to turn up? Are these players good enough? In my opinion, these players are clearly good enough. Mbappe is clearly good enough, but some sort of synergy is off. It's a simplistic way of looking at it, but for me, football is a simple game. I've always looked at it, in the most simple way possible, because I would like to look at stuff in life in the way I could understand, I could process it.
Sunet, where we agree is the fact that we both agree that something isn't working. Okay, clearly we're on the same page when it comes about the quality of the players. Like I said, 11 players that Real Madrid put out on the pitch are all incredible quality players. These are players that any other team would be lucky to have them. And I kind of do agree that stuff isn't working out because of because of how this squad is composed. But now the issue is this team isn't working in defense; it isn't working in attack. Is Mbappe not good? I definitely agree with you. But the thing is, for me, it is not possible to change Mbappe right now. Okay, you have two options: either you stick with what's not working and hope that something changes, and somehow we are able to win the next 3 games, and we go through, and then we play in the playoffs, and whatever happens, and we get a good result. So either you bank on that or you change something. The something that can be changed is it's definitely not going to happen that in winter suddenly Mbappe is going to get sold or suddenly Mbappe is not going to play.
Yeah.
So what is the alternative in that case? The only thing is you try something new with a different manager. For me, that is where I'm coming from. I don't think that Ancelotti is a bad manager or his staff isn't good or whatever. Ancelotti is a damn good manager. Like I said in the last episode as well. For me, Ancelotti is one of the best. And if it were up to me, Ancelotti would be the manager for Real Madrid for a long time. He wouldn't have left after the 14-15 season. But the thing is, clearly right now, Ancelotti's tactics aren't working. There has been no improvement in any of the players. He is not willing to do something that is different from what he trusts. And that isn't working for him. For me, Ancelotti's cycle ended. I would have said his cycle ended in 22-23, but he stayed one season. He won the Champions League and he did a brilliant job with Bellingham. Utilizing him in a different role that probably none of us kind of expected him to do. but he did it. So Ancelotti, like, he has cemented his legacy, but right now it isn't working. I mean, sure, if the board decides that Ancelotti is the guy to stick with, we kind of stick with him, and we hope Mbappe suddenly improves or whatever happens and something works out. But so far, the defense isn't working, the attack isn't working, the midfield isn't working. There's nothing working. The only thing that's working is probably Courtois. So something has to change, right? I mean, it's totally up to you what you want to change. It's totally up to Ancelotti.
Completely. I mean, that is the easy option, to sack the manager, rather than a player, who is earning, so much.
It's less than what we think or what we expect it changes. That's the only thing. That's the only point we're making. Sacking a manager has far more of a negative impact. Okay, fuck the project, but even in terms of where these players are as a unit, I don't think
we are worse off in the long term sacking Ancelotti.
I don't think another manager can do considerably better with Mbappe or with any of the individuals that are struggling.
Yeah.
It's just that once we revert to what was working last season, I think maybe that's when not the best, but a better version of this team comes to light. But I don't think that's happening because. Do you really expect Jude Bellingham to go back to false nine midway through the season? And
So the thing with that is, if you push Jude Bellingham to false nine in the bigger games, you kind of lose everything that you have with Jude Bellingham in the midfield. So that's the thing. You kind of lost a big piece.
Again, it's a compensation. We made it throughout last season.
So last season we had Cruz, and that was the reason why we were okay with Jude Bellingham playing in the midfield. When we did the preseason preview, I kind of said Cruz is going to be a very big loss to Real Madrid, and until they replace him, is going to happen. Like, these things are going to happen, and these things have continued to happen. Like, bringing in Mbappe isn't going to suddenly solve the issues that losing Cruz creates. The hope was that Bellingham is going to drop deep, create from deep, be the guy that Cruz was for us, and maybe we kind of expected better from Mbappe. Mbappe hasn't delivered, but the midfield hasn't delivered either. So for me personally, like, something has to change in this team. Either you make a signing in January. Right now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. You hope suddenly Mbappe improves. For me, so far under Ancelotti, that hasn't happened. But I mean, I wouldn't suddenly say that it's totally not going to happen. There's 0% of that happening. I mean, it could happen. Ancelotti, under him, Vinicius improved a lot. So anything is possible. The only thing that we can all agree on, and I guess we all do agree on that, is like something has to change. Something has to be different if this team has to progress.
Quick question. Okay, we got to move on. But like, if I ask you one word, will you sack Ancelotti now, in the morning?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
You would. Okay,
Yeah.
Sahil.
No.
Would you? No. Right.
I'd bench Mbappe first.
Okay. So let me just finish this whole Mbappe against Ancelotti.
Ancelotti has a full strength squad at his disposal. Because that's only fair that he has that opportunity. Plus, looking at the market, I don't think there's any viable option except Zidane, and I don't think we're getting Xabi Alonso at this point in the season.
And Zizou coming back isn't a certainty, is it? I don't think so.
It is like Zidane.
I don't know. The only thing is, it always does feel like if Real Madrid call, he's going to come back, right? But we take that for granted, I think. And it's after two stints back at the club, I think third would be a bad idea as well. So even when you think of sacking Ancelotti, you have to think of how do we move on from this. And the only way Real Madrid fans, I think, or even Perez for that matter, can picture us moving forward is Xabi Alonso. I don't think he's available midway through the season. So. Yeah.
So for me, like, the thing is different. For me, it's like, if you sack Ancelotti, you only do it if you can get Zidane back. From the stuff that I know, Zidane is like open. Zidane will come back. So, and the thing about me is like, why I kind of highlight the fact that Ancelotti and Mbappe's synergy isn't working is the fact that I do think that if Zidane comes back, that synergy with Mbappe is going to improve. For me, I could see Zidane getting the better out of Mbappe than Ancelotti has been able to.
Probably. They might
but
be
then
something
the prospects for the younger players go even worse with that. Your Gullers and your Index, I don't know whether they'll still play under Zidane.
See, the thing is, like, if you show Zidane that you can do certain things, he is going to play you. Let's not forget that Zidane was the guy who kind of brought Miguel Gutierrez in, and he had him ahead of Marcelo, and he was progressing, and he probably would have been Real Madrid's left back right now if it wasn't for Ancelotti suddenly coming in and jettisoning him out. So the thing is, like, I kind of get why Zidane gets that reputation of not trusting young players, because in 17-18 he was put in a situation where he couldn't trust Llorente and Ceballos. But the thing is, like, Zidane is the one who trusted Fede Valverde and gave him a lot of chances. Zidane is the one who was trusting Miguel and gave him a lot of chances. I know a lot of people kind of like lose faith in Zidane because of how the Odegaard situation turned out, but Odegaard wasn't patient enough. So far, Güler has shown that he is patient enough, and whenever he gets a chance, he's tried his best. So for me, I kind of do get your point that where you think that it's possible that the young players do not progress with him, but on the
Zidane
flip side,
had a reputation for not exactly, like Fede is a good example. Like, he basically kind of made him a cornerstone in our side, but it doesn't.
The second thing for me with Zidane is the fact that Zidane is the only guy that Florentino listens to when it comes to squad composition. We've heard so many times in the summer that Ancelotti wanted this player with that player, and the board wouldn't listen. But Zidane is the one that the club actually listens to. Zidane is the reason why a lot of players were signed. Guys like Ferland Mendy. If Zidane wasn't there, Ferland Mendy wouldn't have been signed for Real Madrid. Like, no chance. But it was because of him. And for me, that like, Zidane is the guy who kind of has an idea of how to take this club forward. So if it's him, like, I can't understand that. And I do get your point. If Zidane is not coming back, you don't want to stack Ancelotti because of what he gives. I totally understand that. If Zidane is an option, I would say, okay, fine, let's stick with Ancelotti. But if that is an option, I would probably, for me, if I'm Florentino, I'm trying to convince him to come back.
But me personally, I can't look at Zidane and think of him as taking the club forward in the same line. I can only imagine him as, say, a caretaker manager role for the end of the season if we're sacking Ancelotti before that, and if it comes to that. But otherwise, long term, not really.
I don't understand.
Because it's a cycle. It's the same cycle. I think Smith knows it.
Let me say this, right? So, sack Ancelotti all you want, right? He doesn't play exciting enough football, right? He's pragmatic. He doesn't develop youth, right? He doesn't bring the best out of the best possible outcome for guys who are looking for minutes, right? Who's looking to prove themselves. It's never going to work out with Carlo in that way. But I'll tell you this, right? This team basically, once the attack sorts itself out, core players, they find their way regardless of what we do, right? How we set up, low block, mid block, high block, I don't give a fuck. If they do the basics right and we start scoring, things will be back to normal and Carlo will be our savior again. It's as simple as that.
I don't think so, but I mean, I would like to have that optimism.
Mm-hmm.
So Nate, don't you think that since we're taking, like, guys like you and me are taking so much of the blame off Carlo right now, would it then be fair to, if things were to go right, to give him more credit than he deserves at that point? If the team starts clicking, the team starts clicking, right?
100%.
Then does it suddenly become Ancelotti?
See, my thing with that is, like, we always have, been, like, the public perception has been Carlo is a hands-off manager, right? Like, he is someone who lets the players do the talking, right? And if the players do start to talk, they do start to do what we think they can, it's down to him as well. Why can't it be? And the only a percentage of where I kind of agree with Mo is that Carlo should be getting the best out of Mbappe. Is if I look at it from the perspective of Carlo can make Mbappe play better, whether it be a system, whether it be his overall confidence, because he doesn't look like a guy who knows where the goal is or knows what to do when he gets the ball, right? He is completely lost his his mojo. So I do really.
He doesn't think like a 9, right?
What was that?
Plus the fact that he doesn't think like a 9.
Sahil, thinking like a 9 is a crucial part, right? Like you can't look past the fact that when players are shoehorned into a new position, it's going to be difficult. But I'm just looking at the basics, man. When you receive a ball, right? The first thing he does is basically make sure that oh fuck, is my touch right? That's the first thing Mbappe is looking to correct. in a game of this magnitude, right? Let alone La Liga, right? Like, let's be honest. At the top level, you barely get a second to correct yourself. You barely get a second to do anything. So if you're caught in your own head, you just absolutely cannot do much.
Makes sense.
So in my opinion, Carlo, when he finds out that these players aren't really listening to him, like I really would think he would completely, rip up the blueprint and start again. I really do think that, because as much as he's a yes man, there'll come a point where no matter what you tell a player, he just won't be able to kind of quite show for it, because it might be pressure, it might be just bad days after bad day, basically adding up. But look, this Liverpool side had just Szoboszlai, who had a win against us, in their career. Now we gave this entire bunch of clowns a win they could, tell their grandkids about. We could have clearly avoided it. And Liverpool had glaring holes in their setup as well. They were giving us chances. For a side that lacked any imagination, we found ourselves, on the edge of some promising situations, which our players clearly couldn't pull off. I get the tactical positioning when Mo was mentioning in the chat, player position relative to one another is way off. 100%. But how many times have we seen it over the years? Player position, it can be dynamic, especially under Carlo. Like it can look lopsided, it can look completely out of sorts. But what do best players do? In that situation, they scan what's happening around them and they pick out the best next move. Okay, it might not be the most optimal move, but at least something to.
You hit a very key point. You said that under Carlo, the player positioning could look lopsided, but that's the thing, right? It was lopsided because everybody knew where to position themselves with respect to each other. Till last season, we used to be incredibly left-centric, right? We would be very focused on the left side, where Cruz would be there, Vinicius would be there, Bellingham would be near him, and when Benzema was there, Benzema would also come out to the left to combine with everybody. When we used to talk about Mbappe, Vinicius, and Rodrigo playing together, we used to say that this team is going to focus immensely on combinations. The focus is going to be how all of these players combine and get out of situations. But so far there has been absolutely no combination. When Vinicius and Mbappe are playing together, the focus seems to be on who is going to occupy the left side, and they keep changing positions. They don't combine with each other to change positions. What they do is individually, once Vinicius is out on the left, and then the next moment Mbappe is the one going out on the left, Vinicius is going centrally. The change in this position isn't dynamic. When we were sold this thing is going to work, we were told that there's going to be a focus on combinations. So for me, that hasn't come true. And today, when you look at each of the frontline players, Arda Güler, when he was playing, was completely out on the right. Brahim was completely central, and Mbappe was completely left. There was nobody who was occupying the half spaces to offer support to the other player. So that was what I said when I said there is absolutely no. There's the positioning with respect to each other is absolutely poor. So when this thing isn't working, when these things aren't improving, week in, week out, it's been like I said, this is the 19th game we played this season, and after 19 games, it's still the same. How do we get out of it?
More, just to be clear about what you said regarding positioning and cohesion in terms of the structure. Are your observations based solely off when we have the ball, or is it also when without the ball?
I mean, for now, when it comes to combinations, obviously we're going to talk about when we have the ball, right? And out of the ball as well. For today, I think we sat very deep. We allowed Liverpool to constantly attack us, didn't we?
True.
So I mean that was not optimal either. And every time Real Madrid have been pretty poor, it's been because we've sat too deep and allowed the opponent to dominate us. Be it when the time we went to Etihad and lost 4-0, whenever Barcelona has come to us and dominated us. Every big game where we have sat too deep, Real Madrid have tended to perform poorly. So for me, I don't understand why Ancelotti gave so much of the momentum to Liverpool, when it comes to situations like those. And the possession was like 63% to Liverpool, 37% to Real Madrid. I mean, what is that?
Right. And with guys like Brahim and Arda, I think you've got to make better use of their energy. I think Arda being pinned down on the right, constantly following Luis Diaz was not the greatest of ideas. I think he could have come out and pressed a little bit more. But again, that was just Ancelotti's pragmatism showing through.
See, for me, I've never had a problem with Ancelotti's pragmatism because I kind of understand like what his end goal is. So I've never actually complained about that. If he sets up the team in like mid blocks and everything, I do understand that. But today, I kind of felt like the team was too deep for my liking.
Yeah.
And
it's just on days like these when you know that the team is not in its best moment, and Real Madrid are in the biggest of games were known for counter-punching. So you've got to, turn the table on the opposition. But it's just as if our body language and our not even tactics, our strategies make the average viewer think that we're just there for the taking and we're allowing Liverpool to play around us, and then we're hoping that one of those chances on the counter-attack, Brahim or Arda gets the pass right, and then the chance falls luckily to Mbappe.
For me, even when we were going into transitions to counter-attack, the positioning was off. Like nobody would be in a position that the first passer gets the ball from our defense, and there was nobody in position to actually receive it and move the ball forward. So for me, that is something that I kind of expect to be improved on a training field, and even that is not improving. Like I'm kind of disappointed.
No, I completely get it.
That only feels right when Vinicius is on the pitch.
I mean, even with Vinicius, like so many times we've been into transitions, we cannot get it off. So
when I hear this, my mind questions this particular play. Okay, my memory shit. Everyone knows it. Everyone who has been watching us would be aware. But in 21-22, Stamford Bridge away, right? When Benzema is basically in the box, he's the only guy in the box, right? Vinicius picks him out and he scores that wonderful header. If you look at it, and if you look at games like today, they'll be basically almost similar in terms of like today will be a bit worse because there is no focal point, and Mbappe is kind of looking at Goller or Brahim to make a run inside, or Jude Bellingham after he's basically defending our corner flag, right? But for me, in my eyes, it's not very different to how it was then to how it was now.
See, Sunet,
so what changed?
Sunet, the thing is, like you pointed out that Benzema was the only guy in the opponent box to receive the ball. Vinicius was the guy who ran into space and crossed it to him. Benzema scored, right? Perfect. What happened before that?
No, I completely get it.
No, so
there was a transition
play that, like Benzema was the one who would receive the ball on the halfway line, play Vinicius into space, and then he would run and get into the position. So the thing is, like these things, they work out because there has been a tactic that's been worked out to figure out how to transition quickly. When Benzema left, Real Madrid kind of lost a huge reason of why they were so good in transitions. Like if you think back and look at all the brilliant transition scores that Real Madrid has scored over the years, ever since Benzema signed for Real Madrid, it was always Benzema who would be receiving the ball somewhere around the halfway line, right? So that was actually a tactic that Jose Mourinho instilled at Real Madrid, and that was something that each successive manager kind of developed, and it kind of kept getting better and better. But right now with the personnel we have, it doesn't seem to be working. I mean, for me, that's a question I raise. Like, why is it that this team that is so incredibly reliant on pace, that has all the players that should be able to play brilliantly in transition, why can't they do it? What is missing? So why aren't they taking...
the puzzle don't exactly fit. That's why.
So why isn't the management working on improving these things? Why aren't they, helping the players improve in certain aspects? Why aren't they helping the players, get better and position themselves properly? And so these things have to be done on the training pitch. And if this isn't working, I don't understand why it's not working.
Right. Let me get to a few other comments before we move ahead. Or should we go for the ad read? I think we should go for the ad read. Big up Manscaped. Big up Doris.
Hola Madridistas, I'm back once again to remind you that if you want to help and support this project of ours, this channel, You can do so by going to manscaped.com, using our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. You help us out and you get a cool product. This time I'm here to introduce you guys to the Chairman Pro. It is a trimmer that features two interchangeable blade heads, one called the blade foil, which is to get that super smooth baby skin, and the other one is called the stubble trimmer, for if you want to still have that little bit of stubble but look a bit cleaner and fresher. You can do both with the same trimmer. It also features flex adjust technology. It adjusts it to your face, how you shave. You can also lock it for a full precision. The thing is waterproof. You can shave yourself in the shower if you want to. It's completely waterproof. It features 75 hours of battery life, so if you're going on some kind of travel, you can charge it beforehand and it will still have enough battery for the trip. Also, if you're going on a trip, you can lock it so that it doesn't turn on as you go. It has an LED. It's a great thing, and especially now that Christmas is coming up, if you want to send it as a gift to your boyfriend, or if you're a man, get it for yourself or your brother or dad. It's a great gift for any man, and this bad boy can even get up to like 5 days of beard, so you don't even need to trim it down before you can fully shave it. This does it for you. So yeah, get this at manscaped.com. Use our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. That's code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Thank you for watching, and back to the video.
Big up Doris, big up Manscaped. Go check out Manscaped's Black Friday offer, site-wide offer. LBR20 to get 25% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Big up Doris as always. Walker was mentioning Ancelotti's contract need to be terminated now. Not December, not January, right now. Yeah, some pretty harsh opinion. Big up Milan, he was mentioning, I keep saying it, we signed French Lukaku. Kept hearing, no, he's the best, he's better than Winnie. Even though Winnie is the best, we should sell Rodrigo. We lost because of Mbappe this game. We win with Winnie. I believe that as well, because there is a reason why Winnie is the most important player on a roster. If they was mentioning Mbappe is bigger fraud than Hazard, can't believe Carlo would give him the left wing and play him for 90 minutes. That's another thing. I can't really, I really can't side with Carlo, because if you're seeing someone is that bad, like you have to really look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, do you really value the amount of effort, money, and dedication, not just your staff but the fans put in to watch this team week in, week out? The traveling fans, it's just ridiculous, man. Like you can't bank on a horse that is basically limp to win your race. Like I'll just be blunt with that.
Was that about Mbappe not being subbed off?
Yeah,
I found that strange as well, because Mendy gets subbed off right after his horror
untouchables, man.
This thing, and defenders never get subbed off. So you kind of know what Ancelotti's mindset was there. But I don't know why the same can't be done for Mbappe.
That's the thing. I begged Francesco, guys, you need to bring on meritocracy. Like the people who are waiting in the wings, if they look at these guys, basically left to do whatever they want, for 90 minutes or for however long they're playing, what is the point? Right. A big up Noor, he was mentioning today's game is not just on Mbappe. More than half of the squad played really bad. That has been the case. I mean, he is the biggest for me, and for many, he is one of the biggest reasons. But the squad as a whole, as a unit, it doesn't quite look right. Mo was making a point of Benzema dropping in deep, spraying passes, making sure, like we used to do a lot with him. Benzema, he was the trigger of the press. He could do everything, right? But so could a guy who didn't even have any experience, like Jude Bellingham. Now we understand the importance of him up top. In games where we needed a focal point, he could do some sort of a role to negate the absence of a proper number 9. And we undersold how effective he was, especially in La Liga. Right. Zima, big up Zima. He was mentioning if the whole team or most of the team is shit, then you got to look at the coach. There you go, Mo. That's a valid point. If the Mohammed was mentioning, Carlos saying we competed, might as well wave the white flag. I don't know why he gets into this fucking PR bullshit, man. Like, be honest. Like, why are you hiding? Why are you hiding? 30 years into coaching, you're hiding really now? Is this damage limitation? Why can't you just say how it is? I mean, I get the whole PR aspect of, us, basically trying to, protect the sacred and the holy. But we got to be honest with the fans. You just got to be. Like, after a performance like this, although it's Anfield, you really can't say, stuff like, we were okay.
I like the team. I think he can be neutral with his words and still get away with it. But when he says stuff like, I like the team, we competed well against the toughest rival in Europe.
Yeah.
It's just giving credit to the opposition for the sake of taking away from how terrible we were. Never a good look.
Yeah. I was mentioning, like, this is what I'd written in my notes as well. Carlo has to take risks. The only time he took a risk was when we went behind. I mean, this has been a huge issue of Carlo's management all throughout his stints with us. Not maybe in his first tenure, but definitely in his second tenure. Like, we just wait for an opportunity to present itself. And if that doesn't go his way, he's just sitting there.
I mean, he said in the pre-match presser that I've done 300,000 stuff, like 3,000 substitutions, so nobody can tell me when to make changes. So this is something that's changing anytime soon.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I don't know, man. Honestly, like, stuff like that, it's making me think he's losing the plot. I'll back him to the hill, but come on, man. Like, there's a fine line between being Mourinho in a press conference and being Ten Hag in a press conference, and he is. Yeah, he's.
I think
I'm not going to say where he is,
because Modric, what he said after the game was that we must improve and we must be better. I'm sure we were, because the team has found a good dynamic in the past 2 league games. So I think there's a certain extent of at least admitting that there's an issue and that we aren't as good as we like to be. But with Ancelotti's press conferences, I just don't see enough of that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, these players, what we're composed of right now, especially like since you mentioned Modric, the way we are set up, it is basically damage limitation from the get-go. There is no incentive to play a forward pass with our team. We play a forward pass only to find someone at their feet. There is no there is nothing that is telegraphed. Like, in my opinion, like even last season, like because it was Cruz, because it was our wing backs providing us with ample service out wide, like Carvajal. Like we really had some moves that we could see, week in, week out, and our team seemingly managed to pull it off week in, week out. But every now and then, like, we see glimpses of it, but more often than not, it's basically half chances, like Vasquez getting fouled on and us getting a pen, basically leading us to a better position in the game. It's pathetic, man, honestly. Right. Z-Map was mentioning, I can't believe it's November and I've given up. It's crazy. Like, I don't want to give up. I'm a hugely pessimistic person, but yeah, like, I do think team is in a bad moment, but with the next 3 games, and hopefully we get an easy opposition, probably a Celtic or someone in the playoff, and then we go through, and it might look completely different. But the form has to build now. The form has to absolutely build now. more smiling.
I
Do
mean,
you think we won't beat Celtic?
So the thing is, like, if we finish 24th, we're probably gonna face the team who finished 9th. So I would assume that they
Oh,
are,
is it that way? Okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay, I didn't think about that. Right.
Playoffs.
Okay. Fuck it.
And I mean, even Celtic currently is higher than us. So.
Yeah, obviously. Up the Celts. Right. No was mentioning. I don't know how Ancelotti thought we can go to Anfield and defend our way like we did at the Etihad. Man, after that game, the first thing I said was, I wish I could be a bit more ecstatic about the result.
But
Go on, sir.
there's this, like, even if he did think that way, why would he? Because the context of this game compared to 0-0 at Anfield under Zidane, I think
Yeah.
that's what he's referring to. It's
He was
completely
referring to
different. We had
Etihad last season. Like,
Etihad. Not
Under
Exactly, we
Zidane's.
had to defend a lead over there, but it's just this game is a one-off, and it means nothing to Liverpool, but it's supposed to mean everything to us.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we go to Anfield hoping for a 0-0?
I didn't get your point though, but
No,
I
as
think
in-
what he's saying that Real Madrid like wanted 3 points more than we needed the 3 points today. So
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
playing for
Yeah.
the draw wasn't in the question for today. It's just the context of this game wouldn't allow us to play for the draw. I don't think that would be. I mean, there would be more than one thing wrong about playing for the draw.
I never get it. I never get why Carlo does this. It's just probably his whole game plan. Like, this is me being a layman, right? My thinking is probably he banks on scoring the first goal to calm the nerves, and if it goes south, then he can react, because he might be thinking, if we are too open, if we give our opposition way too many chances to score first, it might come back to bite us. So I think that probably might be it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Etihad last season was a nightmare to watch. Nobody liked the performance. A big up the pungent. He was mentioning, Flameboy. Big up Flameboy. He was mentioning after that 10 miss, the game was done. Liverpool and Anfield got more confidence. That's what I thought as well. It was a pivotal point. If we score, we at least get a draw out of the game. Hopefully, this is me being hopeful. There's no guarantee. It's the Anfield. The crowd, they smell blood, man. So did the players. The pungent, big up the pungent, was mentioning Kylian Mbappe is the biggest piece of I've ever seen. Even in the last match 1v1, he was shooting to the center. He's stiff and predictable. He is nothing special. He has shots, man. He should be finding corners. He should be I don't know. Like, I've seen midfielders, I've seen defenders take better shots than this. I honestly hope he gets somewhere close to being serviceable. Like, we don't need him to be Cristiano. We always knew he's not going to live up to Cristiano. We just need him to live up to Vinny, man. Score 5 Champions League goals a year. That would do. We might win the fucking thing. But it's a tall order by the look of it. Big up Ashik was mentioning PSG is only 2 points behind us. Yeah, and how many games have they won? Have they even won 2? Not sure. We're at 24th spot, the last spot. It was the painful performance and defense, and Thibaut bailed us more times than not. Yeah, if not for Thibaut, where would our team be this season? I really wouldn't want to think about it, honestly. But yeah, let's move on to some some of the other less pressing matters. Performances of Mendy and Sahil wanted to touch it. Mendy and Fran, right? Take it away, Sahil. You thought Fran gave us something of a better shot, basically going down the left. You think?
Yeah, I think every time he's on the pitch, he gives us something, gives the opposition something to think about, and asks questions in a way that Mendy, it's just not in his game to do that. And even defending, I think Fran has improved his game massively. I know it's a very chaotic style of play, and the way he's always running around and barely stable on his feet. but just the way he tracks back and his positioning generally has improved a lot. And I think we saw Mendy being taken apart completely, and it's been a long time coming. Because I don't think people speak enough about Mendy's defensive collapse as of late enough. Because there are obviously, like you said, no missing matters to look at elsewhere. But even the one thing that he was supposed to be world class at, I don't think we can call him anywhere near that right now, because the evidence is just there for everybody to see. He has decent games, and then he has moments where he gets picked apart by world class wingers, or even decent quality wingers. And we saw Salah turn him inside out. Which forced him to give away a penalty, and that would have been 3-0. But luckily Salah missed, and there was nothing to show for. But had he scored there, I think there would have been more of an outcry when it came to Mendy's horrible tackle. Which isn't to say that he shouldn't have been left alone in the first place. But like we said, again, Rudiger had too much on his plate today. Half the time he was busy like covering up for Raul Asensio's positioning, and then he was also coming to Mendy's aid quite often. So I don't think I would have expected that of Rudiger, but it was just the place we were there, the position in which we were in the game at that point. We were too desperate in looking for a goal, and we were too vulnerable at the back. Like I said, Fran Garcia always gives you something to think about, and I think Ancelotti is starting to see that. Because he has, as of late, not just given him more minutes off the bench, he's also been starting games. So I think it's high time Ferland Mendy should think that his place is under.
It is definitely under threat.
Definitely. And it's not just about Fran; it's also about the summer that's going to come. And then we look at guys like Alphonso Davies. So it's not just about Fran and Mendy. You can add another player to the equation, and then it gets doubly as difficult for Mendy.
Right. Moving on, Mo Asensio. I think he was a bright spot.
Yeah, I think he was better than I kind of expected him to be. I had my doubts about him. So given the performance he gave, I'm pretty satisfied with him. And for me, the biggest worry with Raul Asensio getting into this game was the fact that there was a player, I don't exactly remember his name, but I think it was in 2004 or something. It was a Castilla player, kind of put in the situation. Real Madrid conceded 4 goals in first 20 minutes or something, and the guy never got to play for Real Madrid again. So for me, my biggest worry was something like that happens to Asensio. So thankfully, nothing like that happened. And he gave a good account for himself. Maybe there was an early mistake where he almost scored an own goal, but his recovery was pretty good. And apart from that, I think for me, I kind of felt like he was decent. He did his job well. That's all. Yeah. That's pretty much all I can say for him. And given the fact that this was only his second start or something, it was second start, and to go to Anfield and play in that cold run, for me, he's the one player that I would. He's the one player that I would probably, I would probably give full credit to.
Bless you. But yeah, McAllister, when he was kind of taking the shot, I just wish Asensio could have done a bit more. But apart from that, I think he held himself in high regard tonight. The goal line clearance speaks for itself. His passing is top notch. I think there's a player there. I hope Carlo, really goes through with this, because we might find a gem, who can basically, not just in the long term. Long term isn't something that I look towards to. What I want is my team to get back to winning ways, and I think he can contribute massively. But yeah, the midfield, Sahil, Kamavinga. Exceptional. Apart from the one time where Liverpool kind of targeted him, which he I felt like he crumbled in that instance. But apart from that, he was our main ball winner. He was absolutely everywhere. I remember watching him pick off Nunes, then go pick off their centre backs. He was just unplayable for them for large parts when he was on the pitch.
And to be fair, you could say that about Modric in the first half as well. In instances, Bellingham again, he was working very hard to recover possession, and
Yeah.
obviously Kamavinga was more outright when it came to counter pressing and winning the ball back. But Bellingham was running the hard yards as well. It's just a pity that when you speak of each of those three midfielders
Yeah.
separately, they all of them performed, at least decently well. But there was no moment in the game where all three of them came alive and something happened together, all at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my only, regret about that midfield. But something has to happen where the collective clicks, and it's not just one player at a time.
Jude Bellingham looks super frustrated again. Like, he just is completely fed up.
I mean, I kind of understand that. Like in the press conference, he was speaking about how Real Madrid was like, when Real Madrid comes calling, the whole house is shaking and whatnot. And then suddenly he goes to Liverpool, the club he rejected, and they played us out of the park. But I kind of echo what Sahil said. He said that all of these guys had brilliant moments and everything, but when it comes to collective cohesion, that wasn't there, and that was the story of the whole team. Like the cohesion wasn't there. So as much good as you can do individually, if that doesn't work out in the collective, the win isn't there, and if the win isn't there, none of that actually matters.
Right. I'm just looking for any positives. I just can't find any. Like in my notes, there's nothing. There's nothing. I would like to pick up Bradley though, Connor Bradley, Liverpool's right back who made his first Champions League start. He was immense. Kept Mbappe in his pocket. Was driving up all game. Was vital. Like he could have almost scored a goal if it wasn't for Thibaut. Set up the assist. Yeah. He set up the assist for McAllister. He was pretty impressive. I don't think even if they give us strength, they're gonna miss him. Wink, wink. But Sahil, go on. You had something to say.
No, I was just saying when you mentioned can't look for any other positives. I think Courtois is the most obvious, glaring one, and it seems to happen so often that we don't have to mention it now. What saved us from another 4-0 or 5-0 was probably Courtois and a little bit of fortune with Salah's penalty. But apart from that, I think Courtois, man, world class. On his own, keeps shining time and again, and regardless of how the team is performing, regardless of where we are in which competition, I think his class and his quality are always there. So yeah, there's nothing you can question about that one man.
I really want to bring this up, right? So when I used to speak, when I used to get the chance to speak to Francesco, like it doesn't happen really much during the season, but sometimes during the international break when we get to talk, I used to ask him. So our marking, especially our setup defensively from corners, like he used to always stress on about the importance of the mixture between zonal marking and man marking. I really wonder, what did Modric have to do to defend Gakpo in that situation? I don't really understand. Like, how can that be allowed to happen? Is Modric being put in that position to basically cover for someone who is not there doing his job? Because it's honestly baffling watching that unfold, because Modric is trying to leap, he just can't.
I would imagine Virgil was marked by Rudiger.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
I think that's a whole different.
And Gakpo, someone who is renowned for being very adept in the air.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's.
I think if Tchouaméni was on the pitch, I think it would have been him. But it's just unfortunate that it fell to Modric, and I think those are the kinds of things when Mo says these things need to be planned out on the training ground. This is particularly that.
It doesn't help that we didn't have a lot of height.
If you look at Liverpool, they don't have a mismatch like that in their defensive set pieces, and particularly on their attacking set pieces, they make sure that they have this particular pattern. Even Arsenal these days in the Premier League. So these top teams have come to evolve their set piece strategies to a point where now
Yeah.
Even if you know what's coming at you, you can't do anything to stop it. You think of even Van Dijk staying close to the keeper, Konate just on the edge of the box, making that run, and then for Arsenal, I think it's obviously Gabriel. I think you can come up with a sort of equation where that plays in Real Madrid's favor in terms of attacking set pieces, but defensively, it's just
It's just Rudiger. Attacking set pieces, we look for
but
Rudiger.
apart from that, I think it's you have to give your best, most aerially dominant players their best chances at matching the other players, the other team's aerially dominant players. And I think Chouameni is a big part of that. I don't know if Raul Asensio can head a ball. Definitely should as a centre back.
And he's a centre back. If he can't head a ball, what is he doing there?
How tall is he again? Is he 6 foot or
Yeah, I
6
think
foot
so.
over?
6'1", I think probably.
6 foot.
Yeah, I just haven't seen him. I think Benzema used to be vital on defensive set pieces.
Yeah. I remember that.
See, the thing is, like Sahel said, all the big Premier League teams are well drilled, in all the years of the game when it was in play, particularly for Arsenal and Liverpool. I mean, you don't even have to look at them. All you have to do is like look at fucking Leganes when we were playing them last season, last week. They looked a much better drill side than us. So and that's the point I keep on making. Like, what are these people doing in the training pitch that none of our players are actually improving or look like we have some semblance of a plan? So I don't know, man. Like like something has to change. Some things need to improve. Where the improvement is coming from is like totally down to the management and what they do with the players at their disposal for now.
The side of Ancelotti where we talk about him giving the players the freedom and letting them express themselves on the pitch the way they want to. I don't think it should extend to this side of the game.
Till last season, I would say it didn't. Till last season, Ancelotti and co were like very on point when it came to things like these. I mean, Real Madrid, like on offensive set pieces, I think Real Madrid were the most successful team in Europe when it came to offensive set pieces, and like even defending them, we were kind of decent. Like I wouldn't say we were perfect, but we weren't very bad. We weren't at least this bad. This season, it kind of looks like I don't know what's happening.
True. Do you think Mbappe should be on penalties, by the way, when Vinicius isn't playing?
No.
For me, it's like let's look at the numbers, right? Let's look at the history. So it kind of speaks for itself. Yeah, I mean he missed one, but so did Salah. Now, is Liverpool going to go and say, man, Salah shouldn't be taking penalties?
No, yeah, fair enough. I think I take both answers. And
for me, the thing is like Mbappe is in the first Galactico signing. He was at a bad start to his career at Real Madrid. Even Zidane was booed off the Bernabeu. So it's like things happen, players can change, and the thing is like we kind of know the quality that Mbappe has. And I mean, even during a discussion, we were like hesitant to say that Mbappe should be taken up because we were like, we don't really have a player of his quality to come on and fit into place. So for me, the thing is like Ancelotti kind of has to figure out how to make things work. So the onus is on him.
All right, so next.
Am I a DJ? Right. Let me get to some of the comments. Before we slowly start to wrap this up. Where did I stop? I can't remember.
Is Ashik not there today?
He's there. But yeah, we can't read out every comment. We're going to be here all night. The Panjab Biggie was mentioning Mbappe. Okay, I've read that. I've read all that. Right. Milo was mentioning. Playboy was mentioning. Also, if you notice in the first half, we couldn't even complete basic passes. That's my biggest gripe. And also holding the ball too much, which eventually gave Liverpool the possession. Big up Milan, he was mentioning, Hazard, why did you have to leave us with your wages? We wouldn't have afforded Mbappe. That's a good twist.
For me, the thing is like Real Madrid, whenever we play the ball, like even a neutral person can look at it and say that Real Madrid are so slow in possession. Like we don't know. Like once a player gets the ball, they don't know what to do next. So that is an area that definitely need to improve. Like these guys aren't like, these guys aren't scrubs. They are very good players technically.
You saw when Liverpool broke, it was just effective, dynamic.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? That's exactly what we talk about when we're speaking about how well drilled they are. For Real Madrid, like it's not there for now. Maybe it will improve, like from the next game over the weekend.
Asha was mentioning great players rise to the occasion, not fold. and Mbappe hasn't shown any signs of a great player so far. The most telling fact, it's a fact, is that Ashik and me, we used to have a real showdown, especially in our opinions of where we stand with Mbappe and the whole kind of setup. And he used to be very pro Mbappe. Last couple of weeks, especially I think towards the end of the period before we went to the international break, he has turned, because you can't support mediocrity for forever. The Punja was mentioning Mbappe is the biggest player on social media, right? Prince G was mentioning let's go a la Madrid. Optimistic people, yeah. Milo was mentioning this is no agenda. Mbappe is the worst Galactico signing in history, and at least Hazard got injured. He just at least Hazard got injured. That's not the way to look at it. Come on. But pick up yourself.
No, as in at least Hazard had something keeping him back. His fitness.
100%. You could say that. I was very anti-Hazard as well. Probably more than Mbappe, honestly. But the Punja was mentioning Carlo Ancelotti has nothing to do with today's loss. Mbappe is the biggest. He has something to do for sure. The Punja was mentioning Mbappe form has nothing to do with. Okay. Siddharth was mentioning big upset. He was mentioning get back due to his position. He was also mentioning.
Yeah.
Remember today that I told you that we have to go for a seesaw game and we had to overscore them. Yeah, we had to basically. That's the first thing. Like at least my commentator, he pointed it out. When Liverpool had possession, they were constantly looking to get the ball as quickly as they could to their front men. Right, like we were ponderous. Like the term ponderous has been used so much that like I really am fucking fed up because it takes us ages to get the ball from our center backs to our forwards. It just is pedestrian, man. Like we really lack any sort of an idea as to what to do next. Like what Mo said, we have been parroting that same fucking sentence all throughout the season. Right. Dipanja was mentioning Mbappe was playing in the wing. He should be making chances like Vinny. What did he do? The more I watch Mbappe is not the kind of player Vinicius is. Mbappe relies on his pace. Relies on his pace more than Vinny does to basically.
He has more of a deceiving kind of thing with defenders.
Vinny has a bit more flair. Simple as.
Yeah.
A lot more flair. A lot more tricks up his sleeve to beat a man. Find an extra pass. Have you ever, throughout the season, have you ever seen Mbappe play, a pass outside of his foot? I don't remember. Just remind me if you guys did.
I don't think Mbappe's ever played outside of the foot pass in his career. I've never actually seen him do that.
The way he's never scored a free kick, something like that.
Yeah, so for like you said, Mbappe, he's the guy who beats players with his feints and stuff. He's never been the guy who'll do step overs or not step overs. Like you said, he's not the guy who would use his flair to create chances out of nothing. For Mbappe, the biggest thing about him is he has that. Not Cristiano, but the Brazilian R9. He kind of has that ability to beat players with pace and feints and with deceive players with his movement. And the biggest thing is he had the ability to score. But so far this season, that hasn't happened. And like I said, the Mbappe we were promised isn't the one that has come so far. But the thing is, for me, he's a good player. With time, I'm sure he'll come good.
Fingers crossed. I hope he does as well because. Otherwise, he's gonna get my man sacked, man. I don't want that to happen. Fuck. Sid was mentioning Vinny has scored 2 hat-tricks in the last 5 games. There you go. Big up Milon, he was mentioning, man, always giving Mbappe excuses literally ruined all our counters. Rodrigo and Vinny would have literally done something, create at least a chance. Come on. We all have different opinions. It's okay to think differently. That's why we're here, right? The Punja was mentioning this guy has an anti-Carlo agenda. If you listen to Farouk as well, the Punjan, they all think that we could hire a better coach. I mean,
till last season, I was probably with you with one of the most pro Carlo guys. But right now, what I see is till last season, I was kind of defending him, and I will always be arguing with Farouk. But right now, I kind of have to judge on what is going on. So, and it isn't like I've never said that Ancelotti's a bad coach. He's pretty brilliant, but so far it's not working.
Sid was mentioning Mbappe not finishing chances is the problem. The bench had no strength. Right. Deepak was mentioning if Vinny comes back, we'll play a lot better. Maximum players. Right. Milo was mentioning when is he going to get back on form? He's trash for France. He was trash for PSG. Last 5 months, he's trash in Madrid. You keep blaming Carlo. He's literally trash everywhere. It's impossible. Ashik was mentioning Mbappe hasn't panned out and is partially to be blamed for our ineptitude up front, but Mbappe isn't the sole reason that we suck. Injuries and too many similar type of midfielders has a role to play. Right. Dipanjan has a very strong stance. He was mentioning we don't need Mbappe. We value Carlo 100 times more than Mbappe. I'm with you on that 100%. Ashik was mentioning to blame Carlo for everything is seriously amateurish. Nobody's blaming him completely, but yeah. You have a point. Milon is completely against you, boy. He's mentioning we were coached well. Mbappe missing the pen ruined our morals, our morale. Right. Defending Mbappe after 5 months of nothing is wild. People do have a point, when you look at that way. Right. Okay. Dipanjan was mentioning, see, name calling and stuff, just keep it to yourself, Dipanjan. Yeah, just let it be civil. We talk football, let's not start calling people, names. It's easy. It's a loss. Emotions are running high. We should keep it in check, right? Because he was mentioning we need, Kamavinga was basically injured, so we needed a body in defensive midfield. That's why Vasquez was introduced and Fede was moved to midfield. Milo was mentioning no matter the coach, Mbappe will never be good. He's washed at 25. I don't want to even read the whole thing. Right, Dipanjan was mentioning Zidane will never trust a single young player. Zidane benched Fede, but Zidane was the reason Fede is here. Right. So that's the thing, like with Zidane and his overall, his implementation of our youth prospects isn't exactly cut and dry. Yes, he has put his faith on a lot of good players that worked out, but there were instances where we were really looking for guys who could who we thought could step up, but Zidane not really thinking they were quite ready yet. But definitely an improvement over Carlo. Nobody's gonna dispute that. Bale apparently, Ashik, thanks Ashik for posting it. Bale apparently mentioned on his day Mbappe is the best player in the world, and I think it's just a matter of time. I've missed penalties too. Everyone does. Yeah, unified front. Big up Madrid TV. He was mentioning full trust in Mbappe, a la Madrid. Right. Benzema's butler has more class than Mbappe. Well, yeah, with that, I think we should call it a day. But big up people in the chat. Big up people who are going to be tuning in later on our audio platforms as well. Big up our sponsors, Fanatics. Go check them out. They usually have site-wide offers. We don't have a promo code for them, but go check them out. Biggest sports apparel collection online. Go check out the Talksport Fan Network. If you didn't know, now you know. This pod and all the watch-alongs and all the fan cams are powered by the Talksport Fan Network, powered by the fans for the fans. Go show them some love on their social media and YouTube channels and whatnot. If you're in the UK, obviously you would have their radio and access to their radio in some way or the other. A big up Manscaped as well. Black Friday special 25% off site-wide. I repeat, site-wide. It's not every day Manscaped has a site-wide discount. They'll be having it for their Cyber Monday offers as well. So go check them out. Obviously, the pioneers of below-the-waist grooming for men, but they also have a huge catalog of products like loungewear, boxers, trimmers, you name it. Like a couple of my friends, they were mentioning it to me. When they bought trimmers from Manscaped, yes, it was kind of expensive compared to something like a Philips or a Braun brand, but the quality, the build quality especially, they were pretty impressed. So they were telling me it's bang for buck, so go check it out. And most of the products are kind of pricey, but there is stuff that is under $20, under $15, like shampoos and whatnot. Any sort of love you can show our sponsors is them showing us love in return. So do your part, boys, and keep supporting this little dream of ours, and we are in this together. And what makes the sport is you guys making this two-way conversation. We are here to basically have a civil football conversation. We appreciate you. We appreciate especially our audio listeners for always sending us positive and negative feedback. You guys are our backbone. I always stress on it. Quickly, Mo, final thoughts for tonight.
Final thoughts, man. I don't know. The only thought I have that it surely doesn't get any worse than this.
Only ways up.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair. Sahil.
Yeah, depressing. I don't know what we would have expected from this team given our current form, but I think the way we lost it was pretty disappointing. And now it just leaves us in a terrible position with regards to the Champions League. So I think enough said about the performance itself. It's just at the end of the day we have to make it and qualify for the Champions League, which seems even the top 8 right now seems a distant dream. So yeah, just hoping for the best with regards to that.
Since we just mentioned it, it's going to be a bit of a controversial question to ask, but do you think we will qualify? Fuck it. My life, man, my life.
Can you remind me who our remaining fixtures are?
Salzburg.
Brest away, Atlanta away, Salzburg home.
Yeah, the next one is Atalanta.
Yeah.
Okay, so we qualify, but not like top 12. So top 24 qualify, if I'm right.
But 9 to 24 has to play the playoffs, right?
Yeah, playoffs. So we get into the playoffs, yes. And I think we win. But yeah,
does the playoffs have a home and away tie?
Yeah.
Mo, do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we finish
that just
from
adds two more games to our calendar, no?
if we finish from 17-24, we are going to be away in the second leg.
So it just adds more games to our calendar, and that's the worst part. But I think we still qualify. I think it's got to be 3 out of 3 from here. I don't think we can afford a draw.
Atlanta, I have no idea. But if we win at Atlanta, that'll be a huge vote of confidence for everyone. But I hope that happens. But Mo, what do you think? We go through?
I mean, if we don't go through, then it's going to be a disaster. So
if we don't go through, Carlo is getting sacked.
That is the end of the world right there.
So
2012.
I think the last 2 games are in January, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Hoping somebody comes in, at least we get some help for Ancelotti and co. So
Yeah. If he doesn't fucking qualify, man, I've got to turn. Then there is no hiding place there. Unfortunately, there's levels of this club.
So I think for me the thing is it kind of depends on even if we do qualify, what kind of opponent do we get in the knockouts, because I think a lot of big teams are in the positions from 9 to 24. City probably.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure about where Bayern are. So it's definitely going to be interesting, and if things go well, it might also end up that we face PSG in the top. So that's going to be some tie. So I mean it's not optimal, but potentially it's a possibility,
from
right?
there it's a completely different competition.
Fair enough.
Knockouts
Fair
brings a different big star.
Ashik just said we're definitely going to expose Brest. The fuck. He just had to do it. Yeah. We will, man. Hopefully. So sorry to cut you off, Sahil. I was a bit too carried away. I should act my age sometimes, right? Sorry.
No, it's alright, bro. I don't think I was saying anything. It's fine.
I mean, CBS did a whole segment about it, so
Oh yeah, my God, these guys, these fucking pensioners, they're on it. Michael Richards, man. Goodness me. But yeah, the only positive tonight is we live rent free in Salah's head. That's.
Why did he say something?
No, he missed the pen, right?
Yeah.
You can imagine. I can just imagine if he
Robertson
scored
said
that.
something really interesting. He said that I gave away a penalty because Gallagher was bored. He had nothing to do.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope we meet these fuckers, man. If we turn this around, and I really do believe we will, we meet them again this season. I did mention that to Drifty as well yesterday, that hopefully we meet again in the knockouts, and then we could talk. This, although there were stakes, this wasn't really the game. But yeah, big up everyone, man. Hopefully, until next time, watch out for the preview. We are playing. What are we playing on Sunday? I forget. Let me quickly check. Getafe at home. Yeah, big game. Hopefully, we keep this league form at least intact. And yeah, look out for Farouk's and Jacob's preview. Hopefully,
so I kind of find
Friday.
it funny you said Getafe is a big game. So that is
It is a big game.
we are in now.
Every game is a final from here.
Yeah, you could say that as well. The reason why I say it's a big game, bro, we have to close the gap, right? We have to keep closing the gap. Like that's gonna like I truly believe if we pick up our form in La Liga and start to win games convincingly, that's gonna bleed into our European situation as well. It's definitely gonna help. So fingers crossed.
For me, the biggest thing is like Ancelotti has to figure out like he has to unlock Mbappe. Because right now the way things are, it's not optimal. So that's going
Either
to
unlock him or lock him up on the bench.
There you go.
I mean, if that is the solution, then send him on the bench.
He can come on and absolutely make an impact. Like imagine him using his space against guys who are tired. It's gonna be very effective. But yeah, the whole ego situation and Mbappe being a fucking entourage, I don't know how that's gonna pan out. But yeah, boys, pick up yourself, pick up people who are still in the chat, smash the likes on the way out, and yeah, even people on the audio platforms, guys, if you can come over to our YouTube channel and show it some love, it'll be great. We are less than 500 away from 3K, so guys, make it happen before the season is over. For better days, all we can do is pray. Until next time, people. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Manscaped is the ultimate gift for him this holiday season.
Now you can spice up your gift sack and save big doing it. Manscaped is offering 25% off site-wide for Black Friday. So what are you waiting for? Put Manscaped at the top of your wish list this year.
And here's an insider secret, your partner is wishing for it too.
Shop Manscaped's 25% off Black Friday sale today and get free shipping on all orders.